Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing about how the infections get into our systems. What are the root which this infection get into our system? Before we proceed, if you have not followed me on my social media handle, I'm on Facebook, on TikTok, and Instagram, and Twitter as Shaban Shaibu Omoko. You can also follow me on YouTube as Shaibu Omoko. Without much wasting time, let's dive into what today's video is all about. We'll talk about how the infection get into our system. Before this, let's know what infections is all about. Infections are those foreign bodies which get into our system and cause distortions of the natural body system. Anything that will go into your body system and cause the disability or the distortions of your natural body system is called infections. Most of these infections are caused by microorganisms. Microorganisms are those things which we cannot see with our naked eye. There are different types of microorganisms. We have living and non-living microorganisms. So non-living microorganisms are the one that is responsible in causing this infection. And these non-living microorganisms are also grouped into different types based on how that is based on their magnification, based on their size. We have bacterial, we have fungi, we have virus. Bacteria, fungi, and virus. Another group called Rickettsia, which is not that popular. So virus cannot be seen with just a mere normal microscope, which is called Olympic microscope. Bacteria can be seen with Olympic microscope, while fungi can also be seen with Olympic microscope. Now, which of these microorganisms are actually responsible for infections? All of these microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and virus, cause infections. There are some which you call pathogens and some which you call non-pathogenic. Pathogenic are those microorganisms that can cause infections, while non-pathogenic are those microorganisms that can be in your system but they don't cause infection. Some of them are beneficial to mankind. So some of them, without them, we can't live. There are some which is in our stomach. Without them, we can't live. There are some which is in our private part. Without them, we can't live. Not all microorganisms are pathogenic. Not all microorganisms, living microorganisms, are pathogenic. We have pathogenic and non-pathogenic. In pathogenic, for example, now have lactobacilli, which I always mention that is in a woman private part. This lactobacilli don't cause infections. It helps in producing lactic acid, which protects the woman private part. Now we have Candida albicans. Normally, Candida albicans sometimes cause infections. That is when this lactobacilli power is depreciated. For example, those are frequently wash their vagina. They do that. Continue to do that will depreciate the potencies of this lactobacilli in producing lactic acid at the end, subject the woman into candidiasis, that is infection caused by Candida albicans. Now let's look at how this microorganism truly get into our body system. Like I always say, personal hygiene is one of the most important things in life. Personal hygiene, because in all our discussions, you will discover that microorganisms get into our body system through unhygienic way. For example, now, if your house is clean, your toilet are clean, everything is clean, there's no any form of trace of infection or microorganisms there, that's not how it can get into your system. But we cannot do with that, because if you is clean, what about your neighbor? And only you cannot exist in this world. We need each other to. Now let's look at how these infections get into our system. The infection get into our system, number one, through mouth and fecal route. For example, now somebody passed out a stool into water, into river, and you get the water from the river, drink. Already, if the person has typhoid fever, which he released into the river, you already getting it. Cholera and other form of infections are getting to water. We talk about fecal root. That's the infections that get into our system through mouth or other opening areas in our body. Most especially fecal root is through mouth. Injections of contaminated food. When we eat food that is contaminated with this microorganism, already we have introduced them into our body system. Most of these microorganisms, most of the parasites or bacteria need a host to complete their life cycle. So when they go into our body system, then they'll start developing to complete their life cycle. Improper cook of vegetable, fish, and meat is one of the ways which some of these infections get into our body system. There are a lot of infections which you might not know the name, so there's no point of mentioning them, but just try to get the message that I'm trying to send, the way they get into our body system. Most of these microorganisms die at 70 degrees Celsius. If you are preparing your meat, make sure at least the temperature get to cook it very well. Your vegetables, sometimes excess cooking is bad, but at least cook it in such a way that all the microorganisms that follow it to the pot dies. And another way which is the infection get into our body system is through skin penetration. How did that happen? When somebody have cut wound on his skin or her skin, and one or two things happen, maybe you touch your body, an open wound, which you will know that, like I said in one of my videos, I said microorganisms are big creatures in nature. What it means by that is this: they can be found everywhere. It's not as if they are limited to anywhere. No, they can be found anywhere because of our activities. Maybe, for example, now you collected money, somebody took the money, there are one or two microorganisms there, and you have an open wound. Before you know, you touch it, or as you even you're moving, one or two things happen. There's one or two jump from here and there, microorganism pet on your womb, it will get into your skin and start causing infection. Another skin penetration is needle prick. Most of people who have HIV today doesn't get it through sexual relationship. Most of them get it through some female when they are doing their hair, some male when they are piercing their body for tattoo. If somebody use an instrument that is unsterilized, what I mean by unsterilized is this is not heated to a certain temperature which can kill all the microorganisms that may be present on that instrument, sharp object. And they use that sharp object on you, it penetrates in your system, it will introduce infections into your system. Just cleaning instrument did not make it properly cleaned. Just washing it with water or using a rag or something to clean it does not make it free from infection. No. Best way you could make an object free of infection, we call disinfection, is using of alcohol, that the methylated spirit, to clean it properly. And number two, heat. When an object heated at least 70 degrees Celsius of heat, it receives 70 degrees Celsius of heat, that object is going to be whatever microorganism that is on that object is going to die. And another way which infection get into our body system is through sex. Some people today are treating sexually transmitted infections every day, every week, every month. Some people have contracted HIV through unprotected sex. Sex is a channel where most of the body fluid are exchanged between two partners. A man has sex with a female and ejaculates sperm into that woman's private vagina and directly into her wombs, and at the end into the entire body system. Whatever thing that come into from there, coming from the man's body, I get into the woman body. If there's infections, if there's HIV, there's staphylococcus, if there is gonorrhea, if there is Candida albicans, it goes directly into the woman body and start developing. Likewise, the male. Some male will say that I use condom. Yes, sometimes you might use condom, but you did not use condom when you are licking her private part. You touch her private part when she's wet and use the same hand to touch her breast. Now you put your mouth on that breast, you start sucking the breast. You already sucking the infection, whatever thing that you pick from the private part to the breast, you're already sucking it directly into your mouth. That's the main reason why they say that using condom is not 100% safe in protecting yourself. That is just this. Proper hygiene is the only way you could get yourself free of all these infections. Also, we have anus. Some people use anus as a means of sexual, what I don't want to mention, but whatever thing that will penetrate into the anus and it goes directly into your body, it can cause infection. Infection does not necessarily mean only sex. Infection does not necessarily mean only through the skin. Infection does not necessarily mean only through the injections of something through your mouth. If it goes through the anus, it can also cause infection. Those are the major ways where infections get into our body system. Like I said, through the injections of uncooked food or unhygienic hand, through sexual relationship, unprotected sexual intercourse, through anus, fingering of anus, through use any means at all that will lead to the injections of anything into our body system, through skin piercing. These are major ways where the infections can get into our body system. However, we have come to the end of this video. If you enjoy what we said here, please don't forget to follow me on all my social media handles. Like I said earlier,